Welcome, everybody, to Sports Shorts Daily. Ronnie Rance alongside Tommy Krysan as we're presented by LVII Casino. TK joining us from Court Street Cafe in Port Allen, checking it out. Fantastic place. Check out Court Street Cafe, especially if you work downtown Baton Rouge, just right over the bridge, less than 5 minutes away. You can be having a fantastic lunch right there in downtown Port Allen. Today on Sports Shorts, we're going to talk about the Super Bowl. Both teams land in Phoenix today. There'll be Media Day tonight. The New Orleans Saints expected to get a new defensive coordinator, a guy by the name of Joe Woods, been in the league a long time, most recently with the Cleveland Browns as defensive coordinator. The Pelicans, they have a winning streak going. That's right, 2 or more is a winning streak. They beat the Lakers on Saturday. They destroyed the Kings by 30 last night. Without Ingram playing in the game, who had a big game Saturday night. They sat him to rest. Didn't need him. They dominated this game. Led by almost 20 at halftime, went on to win by 30. So the Kings. So anyway, that's a 2-game winning streak, and they're next up against the Hawks at home. Also, LSU's women. Everybody eyeballing that next Sunday matchup against South Carolina. South Carolina escaped on the road in Storrs, Connecticut. They won a hard-fought victory by single digits over UConn. LSU's women went on the road. They won a hard-fought victory by 6 points against a very bad Texas A&M women's team. They have not played really well the last 3 games. They won them, but they have not looked like they did earlier this year. So we will see. They do not play again until Sunday in Columbia. And for South Carolina, they take on a not very good Auburn team Thursday night in Auburn. Should have no problem. And that'll set up 1 versus 2 potentially. Stanford lost, who is ahead of LSU in one of the polls. So this will be the game of the year, potentially in college basketball before the postseason. LSU's men, we move on. Let's bring in Tommy Krysan, TK joining us from Court Street. Super Bowl week. It's a little different nowadays, right? It's all a made-for-TV sort of deal. Normally they had the media days today during the day, and they had all the different booths and all the different players spread out in the stands. And, you had all the serious interviews, you had all the silly interviews. Now it's a TV primetime event on the NFL Network tonight. A little different.
Well, the NFL is pretty good at marketing for the most part, and that's what they're doing tonight with having it on on the NFL Network. It's on ESPN2. I mean, they're building the hype. I mean, the Super Bowl is one of the most watched events in television history in most years. I mean, the ratings have went up and down, and if it's a blowout Sunday, the second half ratings will go down, but don't anticipate that. But it's the Super Bowl. It's the NFL's prime thing, Super Bowl 57. Wow. They've been moving on, so it's all part of it. The hype, the stories. Like you said, Ryan, you get some really good stuff. You get some silly stuff. It's just part of it, all leading into what I think is going to be one hell of a football game come Sunday.
It used to be that the media days were held inside the stadium, like literally on the field. They would have the booth set up on the sidelines. They had the players in the stands. They would take a team photo on the field of the Super Bowl that week, with all the logos and things on there. A little different this time around. It has been for the last few years, but I was lucky. I went to a number of media days in the 90s, the late 90s, early 2000s when I was working for ESPN and Leslie Visser and stuff like that personally. And it was, it was fun back then because you had, still the NFL was kind of allowing of really anybody with a media credential to go to these things. Now they've toned it down a little bit because there's just so much media when you take into consideration bloggers and online folks and all that. Back then you might have 2,000 media people, 1,500 to 2,000 media people that would go to this media day. And you had everybody from MTV there with, VJs asking, what's your favorite song and stuff like that, to foreign media, from all over the world that would be talking in languages the players couldn't understand, and they would have a little fun with them there. Now it's a little bit different. But I would say, back when I was covering in the late 90s, early 2000s, the players really enjoyed media day. Like, they looked forward to it. The big personalities would come out, and they would have a chance for an hour to hold court, be silly, and maybe bring some, gizmo, add a thing to their outfit or whatever. Now it's a little bit different, but back then it was a little more Wild Wild West. And what was funny was all the stars would have the podiums, Tommy, and the offensive linemen would be sitting up in the stands, like clusters of 5, nobody really talking to them and everything. And then every once in a while, somebody would break off and go, "I'm tired of waiting in this pack. I'm gonna go talk to this offensive lineman I barely know." And they get so excited when somebody would come over and talk to them, But that'll be taking place tonight. You can watch it. I've talked to numerous people, Tommy, that are going to Arizona, going to Phoenix this weekend. Everybody from, Casey McKenzie, our general manager of the Baton Rouge Rougarou, he's going for a couple of days to the Phoenix Open. Dirk Lockhart, who's a big supporter of the Rougarou, owns Greystone Country Club, where our, golf tournament will be May 1st to support the Rougarou. He's actually playing in the Pro-Am on Tuesday or Wednesday, I think Wednesday. As a guest of Waste Management. He's in that business. And so he's going to get a chance to go actually play, which will be really cool, which means he'll get a chance to play 16, right? The most famous par 3 in all of golf, in front of thousands of people. I just hope Dirk doesn't shank it.
Hey, he's going to be a little nervous, I'm sure, but that's going to be a lot of fun. I'm happy for Dirk that he gets to do that. We got to make sure he's got a Rougarou shirt on, though, right?
That's right. Well,
you got to arrange that, okay? Or the Rougarou hat, we can put the sticker on the golf bag. We got to get this taken care of.
Yeah, we'll work on that. Special thanks to Theo Vaughn, the comedian who did 4 sold-out shows in Baton Rouge over the weekend. He rocked he gave him a customized Baton Rouge Rougarou jersey. He was appreciative of that. And he did a great show. Went to the show, I think, Friday night for a little bit. He was great. All right,
by the way, Ron, I have my custom Rougarou jersey ordered.
Nice.
I got that ordered.
What number? 14?
Correct.
Okay.
Well, I got a story on that. See, I'm too fat to wear 14. 14's for smaller guys. So when I had to wear a number many years ago coaching travel ball, I flipped it to 41, figuring, and plus Roger Cador wore 41, so I could say, hey, it's for Roger Cador, depending on who I was talking to. But Hunter McCann, who does the Sports Shorts radio with us, told me, he said, hey, if your number's 14, go with 14. So that's what I ordered.
All right, well, good. That'll look great. So Super Bowl wise, nothing's really changed on the line. There's no real stories that have yet to come out relative to health or suspensions or anything silly. So I don't know if anything's really going to change between now and Sunday. The Eagles find themselves a 1.5 point favorite. The over/under is 50.5. Which of those bets do you like the best? Which one?
I'm feeling under 50.5. The Eagles are going to try to run the football. And if they're having success, they're going to continue to run the football. And, of course, that makes the clock move. So, the Eagles' defense, and Derry Beckwith talked on Sports Shorts Radio Saturday, the game's going to get won at the line of scrimmage. He likes the defensive front, especially at Philadelphia. And they may have arguably the best offensive line in football. So if they're able to run it and eat some clock, and Jalen Hurts, scramble for 4 yards or 6 yards, it's going to eat clock, and I could see it going under 50.5. That's my early thought. Now, this is 2 good football teams. I don't think the line's going to move much at all this week. If it does move, like you said, Ronnie, if somebody gets suspended or some major injury is released for either team, then you might have some movement. But all the wise guys think it's going to be a very tight game, go down to the wire kind of thing. A couple of the simulations have it being an overtime game. So I don't think it's going to move unless we get some major stories. And I don't know. These 2 teams are pretty focused.
Everybody, Derry mentioned this on Sports Shorts Radio on Saturday mornings. He was surprised at the lack of pressure that the Bengals brought to the Chiefs and Mahomes, especially with the high ankle sprain. He thought they would sell out a little more, bring the blitz, and try to see, make him move a little bit more. And they didn't do as much of that as he expected. I would think the Eagles would learn from that. And, whether they do it every single time, I think they're going to do it a lot more and try to see test that foot out early and see, how does Mahomes move?
Yeah, well, there's no question. They're going to put pressure on him from all 4 of their down linemen. And they're going to get after him, make him move up in the pocket or slide left or right. Now, Mahomes is very good at that, okay? That's what part of his thing is he can do anything a quarterback's ever done. And as I was listening to some radio this morning nationally, they're talking about Mahomes, his arm is so strong that if he has to back up, he can still make the throw he has to make. So, I mean, it's a lot of great storylines. The Chiefs, Andy Reid, Mahomes, and Jalen Hurts, and the Eagles being basically the best team all year long. Even when Hurts had to miss a couple of games, they didn't miss much. Minshew filled in. So, going to be a fun week out in Phoenix. You throw in the golf tournament, you throw in Dirk Lockhart playing. I mean, we got some. Casey's going out there, you said?
He is. He was originally.
I got a question. How many weeks a year vacation does Casey get?
It's a great question. It's a very good question. I'm not sure what he does. He says he works for Merritt Electrical and the Baton Rouge Rougarou and Harris County line, and I don't know about all that. He was originally going to be Dirk's caddy, but Dirk stepped up and got Robbie from the club, who's the general manager of Greystone, to be his caddy. I think that was a better move because all Casey knows how to do is hand someone the putter. That's all he knows how to do.
Well, I don't know if Casey can get 18 holes in. I don't know.
With the bag? Yeah, that's a good point.
Carrying a bag, a heavy bag is a little bit different.
The new sub 240 Casey might be able to do it.
Well, maybe the back nine, maybe.
So he's talking about Phoenix. We mentioned this on the show on Saturday on Sports Talk Radio and 104.5 that I looked up on Expedia right now, and I checked it out again last night because we were talking about it. A 5-star hotel or a 4-star hotel or resort in the Phoenix. If you want to stay in Phoenix or in Scottsdale or anywhere within a 40-minute radius of downtown and all that stuff, you're talking over $1,000 a night. With the Super Bowl going on and with the Phoenix Open. The Phoenix Open, by the way, the number one golf tournament in the world when it comes to attendance. I mean, they literally average about 150 to 200,000 people a day. And I'm sure they're going to probably break attendance records this year with the Super Bowl being in town. You're going to have all those peripheral Super Bowl folks that are coming in that are going to go that wouldn't normally be there as well or try to go. So, I mean, we're talking literally 600,000 to 800,000 people are going to be on that golf course and in those stands over the course of 4 days. There's no other golf tournament in the world that does that. They have many stadium holes, not just 16. I mean, it's pretty incredible.
No, it really is. It's a spectacle. And I don't want to be those couple of people that are handling the tickets for the important people this week at the Phoenix Open because the phone's going to ring. Somebody's in town for Super Bowl. Can I get a good ticket? And there's a lot of people that don't want to tell no. Some people are, would be on the list. And we can tell them we don't have any. But there's some people that, you pretty much got to accommodate them. And it's going to be a fun time to be in Phoenix.
Just to give you an idea of how big their golf tournament is, Tommy, every tournament has the 19th hole, right? It's this tent right by 18th hole, and they have bars in there. They usually will have like a band play, at the end of the day, that sort of thing. And it just keeps the party going, creates more revenue, creates, helps kind of create a festive atmosphere for those that aren't just so into just the golf. And so every tournament has it. Well, the Phoenix Open has what's called the Hawk's Nest, and it's their version of the 19th hole. And it's been around forever. I remember going to the Hawk's Nest back in the 90s when it was still on the come up. It was awesome, but now it's like literally a giant concert venue. They have Jason Aldean performing one day after their at the end of their day. I mean, that's the Zurich has like the Chiwis, you know what I mean? Like, but they've got Jason Aldean performing at the Hawk's Nest after one of their days. I mean, they have major acts, which is incredible.
Yeah, no, it's all about entertainment, money, and again, it'd be a spectacular week to be in Phoenix and do half of what you could do would probably tire most people out.
Real quick before we start talking a little LSU women's hoops and the game of the year that's coming up, tell you quickly about the Baton Rouge Rougarou. See my shirt I've got on right here. The Baton Rouge Rougarou shirt. Our season, believe it or not, is just over 100 days away. You can get your tickets at brrougarou.com. It's $100 for you can get up to 4 people for every single game, and that's it. It's $100. We don't have any other tickets. You can buy tickets at the gate, to get in to the games individually. But if you want a season ticket, we got one kind. It's $100. Get you into all 24 home games plus any playoff games, and it also gets up to 4 people. To any of the games. That's $1 a ticket. So Can't beat it. Help support the Rougarou. If you can't use your pass, give it to somebody one night. Let them bring their family, that sort of thing. So help support college baseball and summer college baseball here in Baton Rouge. Go to brrougarou.com.
Ronnie, key point there. If you can't make it to the game, you can give someone the card that they can get scanned at the game. So that's a key point, because then you can do that, and someone else can go use the seats that night, etc.
And you can opt into, instead of getting the pass, like the card, looks like a little credit card you put in your wallet or your purse. If you don't want that, you can get it emailed to you, and you can download it into your Apple Wallet, and you can send tickets that way. So either way, we got you covered, and we appreciate your support. Now, LSU's women. This is literally the game of this is LSU's version of the game of the century. Not so much for South Carolina, but LSU's women, Tommy, I'm not feeling really good about this trip across the country that they're going to take our over to the East Coast on Sunday. They have really not played their best the last 3 days. The last 3 games, they've survived in advance, which is a credit to Kim Mulkey and the staff. But they're rolling into a South Carolina team that just went on the road and won in one of the toughest places to play in all of college basketball. That's Storrs, Connecticut. They won on the road. They get a tune-up on Thursday against a not very good Auburn team. LSU's now, 23-0, 23, 24-0, something like that. I think it comes to an end this Sunday. Am I wrong?
I don't know, Ronnie. South Carolina's the reigning national champs. Okay, they got the best player in the country. Aaliyah Boston is by far the best player in the country. Very, very effective on both ends of the floor. I'm going to defer to Kim Mulkey and say she's going to have a plan. She's going to do something in this game, offensively, defensively, full court press. I don't know. She's going to come up with something to maybe balance the scale a little bit. Our point spread wouldn't be out, I guess, until Saturday. But I'm not going to count Kim Mulkey out. But I think on the road, it's a challenge. South Carolina is where LSU wants to be. And if LSU can win that game on Sunday, certainly then they become the number 1 team in the country and get ready for the NCAA tournament. So there's a lot on the line. I think it's going to be the biggest LSU women's basketball game. Is it in school history? Ronnie, when they went to the Final Four, they never got to the championship game. Am I correct?
Correct.
All right. Or did Sue Gunner got to a championship game back in the day? Okay. She got to the finals. All right. So this is the biggest game in the history of LSU women's basketball. And that's not to say that if they lose, that means curtains, that the season's over or done, or that the trending upward is not going to continue. They would learn from it if they happen to lose. But that's 1:00 Sunday. Super Bowl's not going to kick off till just after 5:30. I would say it'd be the most watched LSU basketball game in TV history from a rating standpoint, a number of viewers. And I'm not just talking about Baton Rouge. I'm talking about nationally.
The other thing, too, is LSU's playing for a number 1 seed. If LSU goes over there and plays well and loses by, 6-8 points.
Well, Chance thinks they're going to lose by double digits.
Well, I'm in belief that they're going to get run on this game. But if they can go over there and lose by single digits, then they probably aren't going to fall that tremendously far. Losing on the road by 8 points at number 1 South Carolina, you might drop to 4. And then again, if you win all the other games and then you lose to South Carolina, say in the finals of the SEC tournament, and it's somewhat respectable there, then you're probably going to get 2 losses, and they're both to South Carolina, and they both were 10 or less. I can see them being a top 4 seed still in the country. So there's a lot to play for. Even if you lose this game, it's don't get beat by 20, type of thing when you play them this time and maybe another time in the SEC championship.
Well, and it's going to be great for Kim Mulkey's team for recruiting, in the short term and the long term. I mean, she's putting this program on the map that she wants it to be on. I'm looking forward to that game on Sunday.
By the way, a team who's turned their season around, at least for the moment, is the Pels. They'd lost 10 in a row. Now they've won 2 in a row. They beat the Lakers and the Kings at home over the weekend. The Lakers, it was a close game. They ended up winning by 5. Tommy crashed his ticket. No. You had the Lakers, didn't you? You and I were both.
I missed that.
You were the losing end of that one. I did too. I had the Lakers.
I lost again on them yesterday. I had the Kings.
Well, I won. I went to the game last night. by the way, the Pels maybe one of the more impressive wins of the year. Not that the Kings are very good, but the thing is that they won easily without Zion, without Ingram. They dominated and they won on a back-to-back. I know you like to go with the old back-to-back to go against them, but this is now 2 in a row. They've got the Hawks this week. It was a very impressive win, very good team win last night by the Pels. So hopefully they'll get these things turned around. They're playing with a little bit of confidence and can get rolling. I won. I had the Pels plus +1 or plus a half or half a point or plus a point in the first half. And I went big on that, Tommy, and the Pels were up like 18 at halftime. So that was the ticket to cash.
How was the crowd, Ronnie?
What's that?
How was the crowd last night?
Good crowd. Not noticeably. I mean, it wasn't sold out or anything, but it wasn't noticeably low either. It was a good, solid Sunday night crowd, which you would expect.
They started fast and never stopped, and Murphy had the big game. So, hey, good for the Pelicans. They host the Hawks tomorrow night, so hopefully they can win that third one in a row.
All right, TK, tell us about Court Street before we get out of here.
Court Street Cafe, 7 days a week, breakfast, lunch, dinner. They do a great job here, Jason and the staff. Connect on Facebook and Instagram. You can keep up with everything. They had a wonderful event Saturday, Galentine's, all the women sipping and shopping and all that. Got some other news coming up soon here at the Court Street Cafe, 805 Court Street in Port Allen, just a couple of minutes on the other side of Mississippi River Bridge. Like you said, Ronnie, if you're working downtown Baton Rouge, you can get over here and get a great lunch and get back to work without any problems there. Court Street Cafe in Port Allen. Again, connect on Facebook and Instagram. They'll help you keep up with everything that is going on.
All right, we'll be back with you on Wednesday morning. Until then, have a great one. And check out brrugaroo.com. Get your season tickets and your Tommy Krysan game day jersey. brrugaroo.com. Until Wednesday, have a good one, everybody.